Hello, Unbreak Me here with a look at the LEGO Technic bell-boeing V-22 Osprey set number 42113. I gotta say, I do really love the way this set looks. Anyways, this LEGO Technic set is truly something amazing. It has a multi-directional gearbox, and we haven't actually seen one of these since 2018 in the rough terrain crane. So I do really appreciate that they have finally brought back the multi-directional gearbox. This set has 4 main functions which are fully motorized. First of all, let's turn on the model. It's as simple as flipping this, and then here on the top right you can simply engage the switch, and then the propellers start spinning. I think that is incredible. Just wow, look at these propellers go. And in case you're wondering, both of these propellers actually do have a protection system, so that way you don't get hurt and you don't put too much pressure on the motor and stuff like that. So basically right under the wing, you can see here, this is the axle that is responsible for the motion of the propeller, and it actually runs through this little white piece, and this white piece just has a couple of blue pins inside. These are friction pins, so essentially the motion is transferring through some friction pins. So I think that is really cool. It sort of serves as a clutch mechanism, so in case you don't have the relatively new LEGO Technic clutch that came out just recently, you can certainly build one on your own. I also do really appreciate the way the wings here are shaped. I do really love the way the engines look, and everything here just is really authentic as to what you would see in the actual bell-boeing V-22 Osprey. I do really appreciate that you can also pick up the wings and the model will just go up. You know, it's not going to lean forward too much or back too much. It's really nice the way they figured out the center of gravity here, which is realistic of actual airplanes, but unfortunately this model is a little bit tail heavy, so it's kind of on the back side of the wing instead of the front side of the wing, so there is that. Now let's take a look at the second function. So with the propellers running, we can activate the second function, and essentially now what's going to happen is the propellers will tilt from the vertical position to the horizontal position, essentially turning on the airplane mode, and now it's going to fly exactly like an airplane, and whenever it wants to land it can just vertically land. So I do really appreciate the attention to detail here and everything like that. If we pick up the set and activate this little function over here, you can raise or lower the landing gear. That is a really cool feature, and it is controlled by a very small linear actuator, so it does have a nice clutch on the inside. And you can also toggle this function, which will just open and close the cargo hood over here. And the bell-boeing V-22 Osprey is actually somewhat hollow on the inside, so you can actually fit a good amount of cargo in there and really play with this set. So I do really appreciate that feature a lot. It's really authentic. One thing you should know is that if you put it on a table and you try to spin the propellers in the airplane mode, you can't really do that because the propellers will just hit the table and it's not gonna, spin very properly. But honestly, I mean, it's not too big of a complaint of mine. I sort of can overlook that and really focus a lot more on the positives of this set. So I don't think that's a big issue, and I want to just talk about the aesthetics of the set. First of all, the cockpit here looks incredible. I mean, yes, it is really small, but the airplane is just massive, so it really does give you that idea of scale that the airplane has. And honestly, had it not been canceled, it would have cost only $130. And for $130, you get a set that's this massive. I mean, let's compare it to the 42114 Volvo articulated hauler, and you can just see how massive this set is for only $130. I mean, normally sets for this price are really small, but this one is just huge. And over here, moving towards the top middle, you can see the brand new panel pieces first introduced in the Lamborghini sign FKP 3742115. They are recolored in this gray color, so I do really appreciate the use of the new pieces here, but unfortunately, because this set was canceled, these particular pieces are going to be really hard to obtain, so there's that side to them, unless LEGO decides to put this particular piece into more sets. In that case, you could have an easier time obtaining this particular piece. The back of the fuselage is really well detailed also. I do appreciate all the Technic panels and everything of that nature. I do also like how the tail is shaped. Unfortunately, this particular one does not have any posable rudders, so you can't really, play with it in that sense. But you do get this little sort of switch here, and you can just make it go back. Essentially, the elevator will go down, or you can bring it up. Or not really up, you can just bring it in the normal position. But I don't really like that this elevator cannot go up, it can only go down. So that's not really realistic of how actual airplanes work. So there's that complaint of mine. And if you look closely to the tail, you might notice that the left side has a red light and the right side doesn't have a green light or any light of any kind. This is actually not a building error of mine. It is exactly how the set was built in the instructions. If you take a closer look at all the images on the box and the instructions and everything like that, it's not supposed to have a green light or a red light or anything on the right side of the tail. I do believe that this is an error on LEGO's part, so I might actually modify the set a little bit to add that sort of light there. But I really don't think that this is a big issue you should worry about. Now let's take a look at the internal workings of this set. It's actually really easy to take a look at them. Essentially, all you have to do is take out this front axle, and boom, you can just lift these up. And now you see not the gearbox itself, but you do see the linear clutch that prevents the overturning of the vertical takeoff and landing function. So as soon as one of these engines sort of goes beyond its limit, the linear clutch will engage. So that is a really nice feature of the set, I gotta say. If we just take off these two pieces here on the back, we can open this up, and you can see the multi-directional gearbox. Now I did modify just slightly because, obviously I don't want it to crunch my gears, and that actually did happen to me, but because it only used 3 8-tooth gears in a row, and the fix that has been heavily advertised for the set also doesn't work because the gears simply slide off. So I used another community fix I found, and essentially just uses 2 of these half beams, and you can connect 6 8-tooth gears in a row to transfer the power, and it's really, really nice. And I do appreciate a lot the way this multi-directional gearbox actually works. It's really amazing. I actually sort of prefer sets that use one motor and a multi-directional gearbox to control all the functions, as opposed to just a set that is, full RC or you control it with your phone. I prefer sets like this. They're more complex, they teach you more about mechanics overall, and I just love this set a lot. Honestly, putting it next to the 42114, I really cannot say which set I prefer more. I like airplanes a lot. I like it a lot that it does actually have a multi-directional gearbox. However, the 42114 is a revolutionary, brand new kind of set because it actually does have a fully motorized speed transmission gearbox. Obviously, a multi-directional gearbox is something that we have seen a lot in the past. It's not really breaking the mechanical possibilities of LEGO Technic, whereas the 42114 is doing that. So I think that mechanically, just by that argument, the 42114 is better, although if you prefer stationary models like I do, then maybe, just maybe, the 42113 is better. So I cannot say which one is. I like both of these a lot for different reasons. My favorite aspect of this set is just turning on the propellers in the airplane mode and just going crazy with it. I love playing with this set. Even though I am 17 years old, I still love playing with LEGO as if I were a kid. It is an amazing experience. So what are the pros and the cons for this set? Well, for the pros, it does bring back the multi-directional gearbox that hasn't been used since 2018, and that's really awesome. Another big pro is its incredible size. It is just a massive set for only $130. I think that you're easily getting over $250 here in value, so this set is really, really incredible for its size. It also has plenty of functions, plenty of functionality, and all of it was supposed to retail for only $130. So it is an incredible set, and I think that had it not been cancelled, this set could have easily been the most well-selling Technic set out of 2020. So another big pro of this set is that it actually does introduce the brand new powered up battery box, and I do really appreciate that this set uses that hub. Obviously, it's not really mass distributed at the moment, but I do think that LEGO can use this particular hub in many of their other sets in 2021 perhaps, and so maybe that's how you're gonna get the new Technic battery box. So I do hope that it is mass distributed more. I like this battery box a lot, but it only does have 2 ports. Now let's talk about the cons. This new Technic battery box only comes with 2 ports. The 2 ports have independent control, and you could actually achieve that in power functions just by simply using 2 separate switches. But in power functions, you could connect a theoretically infinite amount of electronics to this set. I mean, imagine if you want to create something like a lamp, and in order to have it shine bright, you need to connect 30 power functions lights to it, right? Well, you just need to use 1 battery box and 30 power functions lights. Connect them all, and boom, you have yourself a lamp. However, with this, you'd need to buy 15 Technic battery boxes just to be able to use 30 powered up lights. Such simple functionality that the power function system had has simply not yet been brought over to the new system. Obviously, you can use third parties, but just speaking from first party support, power functions so far has definitely been better just in terms of connectivity and simplicity and stuff like that. Another big con of this set is its cancellation. If LEGO cannot make military things, maybe just make a civilian use one, or if you don't want to use the bell-boeing V-22 Osprey altogether, just use another VTOL airplane, vertical takeoff and landing, that's sort of similar to the V-22 Osprey, but it's not, so you can't really make the claim that it's a military set, and therefore you can't cancel it, and fans can finally experience sort of the 42113, but in a different model. I do really hope that LEGO does make another vertical takeoff and landing airplane soon in LEGO Technic, maybe 2021 or 2022. I do hope that we get to see it soon. This is Yaron Brickman here, and I'll see you in the next one.